Hello, I'm Scott Soshnick.
And I'm Eben Novi-Williams, and this is the MLS Finals Gives You Wings sports business podcast, the Sporticast.
Wow, a chuckle for Mark de Grand Pré. That is big. I don't even have to ask for his take on it. He liked it. He chuckled.
Love it. Thanks for having me on again, guys. Really appreciate it. There must be something with Sportico. I've been on for like 3 times now. Is it my accent? No one understands me this week, so I've got to keep repeating myself.
This
guys.
is
the champion.
This is the poutine episode. Absolutely. Let me ask you this, Mark. Hey, Eben, am I allowed to tell people, listeners here, which we don't edit out, so I mean it's pretty tough. Like I'm asking if I'm allowed, but I'm about to do it. That you are soon to be a dad. Am I allowed to tell people
fine.
that?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I asked Mark.
Due in January.
Yeah, I asked because we have the accent over the E in your name, and Eben was toying with some baby names in the office, and I was strongly encouraging him to differentiate with an umlaut.
Oh, I like it.
That's not going to happen. To be very clear.
Then I went very soccer specific. I thought, because I do call him on the show every now, Novi Novi. I thought Novi Novi would be good. Let's do it twice. You have any recommendations, Mark, with an accent on de Grand Pré? Any recommendations for baby names for it? We're going to drop the Williams.
Picking all comers.
It's going to be Novi. So we need first name to go with Novi. Any suggestions?
Novi Wings.
Oh, there we go.
There you go, you know?
Maybe I can sell some naming rights to it.
Yeah, that's right. You can sell some naming rights with that.
There you go. Put tattoo at a young age. You're all set. I love it.
Yeah.
Novi Williams. All right, speaking of naming rights, Eben, why don't you get into it? I know you're dying. You love this.
I mean, what a crazy few weeks, few months for you, Mark, and we'll get into all of it. But Red Bulls obviously went all the way to the MLS Finals, losing a heartbreaker to LA Galaxy last week.
By the way, Eben's a goalie in his soccer team. Mark, you may want to plug your ears here. Eben, did you see the goal?
I didn't see the.
Like, I don't want to criticize athletes, but it wasn't great.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Like Mark's nodding. Don't say anything, Mark. Don't get in trouble. I'm the one saying this is me, Scott Soshnick, co-host. Eben, not great.
I will watch it. I will watch it. So coming right off of that, big news on the field and then big news off the field, naming rights to Red Bull Arena going to, and a fascinating deal that we'll get into, but going to Sports Illustrated tickets. The stadium will now be called Sports Illustrated Stadium. Big 13-year deal. I assume, Mark, the biggest commercial partnership in team history. But yeah, maybe let's start with there. I want to talk about both these things. How did the playoff run impact negotiations, or did it impact negotiations for one of the biggest sponsorship assets that you have to sell?
Fortunately, the playoff run did not impact it because we were basically at the last minute of the game there. We were done. We were just getting the papering the deal at that point. So
you can't say the price went up a little bit in wake of a championship run.
No, it's definitely a fair deal for us. So we're excited about where we're going. But we started conversations last January, went nowhere, picked up again in June, July, and in August it really started to take some life, and the ball started to roll in the right direction, and we really sort of came together, Sports Illustrated Ticketing, Sports Illustrated and us, and had a clear vision as to what this partnership should be and could be. And the stars aligned for us. Sometimes, you got to be patient, find the right partner. And this is sort of a historical moment for us because it is the largest commercial deal we've ever done. But it is with an iconic sports brand connecting with Red Bull, 2 iconic brands in sports, culture, entertainment, and we're going to bring it to life at Red Bull Arena, or Sports Illustrated Stadium now, for our fans. And it includes programming, activations, Sports Illustrated doing many events here, and obviously the ticketing component that will come in 2026.
All right, so obviously, if it's okay with you, Mark, you gaffed there a minute. I think we should all just call it Staples Center. Is that okay?
Shea Stadium.
All right, we'll just call it Staples Center for what used to be and is no more. I kid because I love, but I don't think people really understand sort of the different businesses, and that's a licensing agreement for the Sports Illustrated name, but it's the sort of Sports Illustrated tickets that make sense. You said what this deal should be and what it eventually will be. Can you take us behind the curtain? What should this deal be from the team perspective and from the company perspective?
For the team perspective, it's truly a new platform. When we think about the stadium, what we've been doing over the years, this is not just a naming rights partner that's putting their name on the building and giving us a check. This is a naming rights partner that's investing in the club, putting their name on the building, but also committing to programming, bringing Sports Illustrated to life here. So our crossbar, which is a pre-game entertainment area that we have, is going to be rebranding Sports Illustrated Club. It's going to be open on non-game days sometimes. It's going to be leveraged for Sports Illustrated to bring events to life at the arena. We're going to add more concerts, and they're going to help us get programming in the building. And we're going to announce some of those shortly after this announcement early on next year. So that's part of the deal. And then obviously the ticketing platform that will come in 2026 is really forward thinking and innovative, where it's reimagining the ticket, right? The ticket, when you scan it, it just ends up useless in your wallet after. With their technology, it will enable us to engage the fans through the ticket pregame, postgame, and really keep them engaged, give them mementos from that match, personalize the experience through the ticket. So it's really important for us as we look forward at changing the fan experience. So that was critical to the deal.
So
also,
this is a deal, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, the money is coming primarily or entirely from the ticket, from Sports Illustrated ticketing, or is
Correct.
there also, is the publication pitching in? Is Authentic Brands, which owns Sports Illustrated's license, are they pitching in, or is this really just the ticketing?
It's Sports Illustrated ticketing, and they're leveraging all the ABG assets through the
Gotcha.
partnerships.
I think this deal is so fascinating because if I'm the publication, for example, I'm thrilled by this, right? The name that I'm using on my publication is now on a major stadium in one of the biggest media market in the country,
with a
and I'm
big
not
zero
paying a
on my
dime for
P&L.
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and yeah, I will be very curious to see how much you guys are able to leverage all the other aspects of what Sports Illustrated is doing, in addition to obviously the main partner, which is the ticketing one.
All right, get to the question you really want to ask there, Novi Williams, because when I think of intellectual property and I hear Sports Illustrated, where does your brain go, Novi Williams?
I mean, I think of the publication, the magazine.
Oh, all right. I think of the swimsuit issue.
Oh,
I mean, the
there
most
you go.
profitable issue, and I mean, it's
That's
some
not
of the
the
best.
question I was asking.
It's some of the best tangential IP out there. I mean, it's iconic. Any part of the discussion there, Mark? Is there a way to incorporate the swimsuit franchise into the deal in terms of an event at the arena or anything like that?
Yeah, I believe that's part of the plan that they're working on, is how do we bring to life all their key assets, as you mentioned, Scott, here. And this is one of their most iconic brands, and they want to bring it to life here. And all the content you're going to see through the arena will be driven through the lens of SI. So we're going to talk about the history of soccer, the game, the stadium, the area, all through the lens of storytelling through SI, which will be interesting also.
Does that include the photo library too? You get the whole photo archive. I assume there'd be new artwork all over the stadium, every suite, all around the concourse.
Yes.
SI soccer photography.
Yes. There's going to be a lot of new SI branding around the building, that's for sure.
So let's widen the conversation a little bit to include other commercial opportunities that you guys have done recently and maybe are looking to do. We talk a lot on this show about how single seasons of success, going to the championship or winning the championship, doesn't really change the valuation of a team, but it does impact the business in some ways. Walk us through maybe season ticket renewals or other sponsorships. What are the tangential ways in which the fact that you guys surprised a lot of people and made it to the MLS final actually does impact the balance sheet for next year and beyond?
Yeah. Evan, I'd answer that saying we started off the season really strong, and then our commercial business got some momentum then, right? Then we hit a lull, but we leveraged the start of the season and the last third of the season to really drive renewals. Our partnership renewals are up almost 117% in terms of value of these renewals, right? So we took what we had. Basically, we took what we had and said, hey, the marketplace has evolved. The league has grown. So the benchmark now in New York is this for this value of this category and what we're offering. So we got everyone up there. Our ticketing business was up 10%, and our renewals and partials for next year really grew as the playoffs. We kept going. We saw partials really selling for next year. So those are things we didn't anticipate. A lot of folks who were on the fence, not going to renew, all decided to renew and get on board and stay with the club. So there's been some immediate impact. But to your point, 1 year, we need to keep this going, right? We need to make sure this momentum continues. And I know that we're going to continue to reinvest in the roster. And Jochen on the sporting side is going to add some new bodies here to help us get over that final hump.
One of the youngest teams in MLS, correct?
Correct. One of the youngest teams, I think, if not the youngest team. We had first time in history at MLS Cup that there was 3 Academy New Jersey guys who started an MLS Cup game. So kudos to those guys, and we'll add some reinforcement around them.
Yeah, it was interesting. I wasn't going to ask about the academy, but I would love to know how you guys are thinking. What kind of success you're seeing, both on either selling players or bringing them up and utilizing them on the senior teams yourselves.
It's been successful. Seeing who played this weekend and throughout the season, the minutes of our academy players are significant. I think we're probably up in the top in the league in terms of minutes played by academy players. So for us, it's been successful. And now we have the new training facility that we're developing that will open next year and at this time. So we're going to have the best facility in North America. And that's going to help us also start recruiting more players from our market and even looking outside of the New York metro market as well.
And Mark, I'm always fascinated by you talking about winning. The one thing, if I ever bought a team in my opening press conference, I would tell the fans, listen, I'm not going to sit up here and guarantee championships. You cannot do that. I cannot guarantee. But yeah, I will guarantee that we will do what it takes.
Did not get that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I will. Yeah, and everybody wrote what he said anyway. And it's just that. I mean, he knew he was selling the team shortly after anyway. But I would say, listen, what we're going to do is commit to being at least competing for the ability to win. That's a fair way to phrase it. But what I will guarantee is that the game day experience will be enjoyable for you. I will separate myself. I think soccer, particularly internationally, does that better than the other sports. Although if you've ever done a European basketball game, they're bonkers too with the flares and the like. That's some great stuff too. I still don't think anybody's doing it all that well in the U.S. What is different about your game day experience? And what do you plan moving forward to make sure that when they do come, like why were they on the fence about renewing? You can't guarantee the win. But, if I'm having a great time when I come to Sports Illustrated Arena, then I want to go back. That's enough for me. I don't need to be winning. I can't guarantee it. So tell me, why were these people on the fence, and how do you, besides winning a championship or competing for one, get them to make that commitment?
I think that's a great point, Scott. We can't guarantee the win that final game of the year. Being competitive, we have been, right, 15 years straight in the playoffs. Yeah, we went to the conference championship 4 times. People forget that, right? In the last 12 seasons, we won 2 supporter shields, finally won a conference championship, got to the cup, didn't finish. So we're competitive. There's no doubt if you buy a season ticket for the Red Bull, there's a very good chance we're going to be in the playoffs. So that's one. Number 2 is the experience in the stadium, as you say, Scott. And this year we really elevated our game presentation pre-match. It's really become more of a show and a production. Now with Sports Illustrated come on board, we'll be able to double down on that experience and make sure that our fans come in, are truly engaged throughout the match and when they leave and in between games. So they want to come back simply for the experience. Regardless of the score, when we talk about the experience here, we say everyone needs to leave with a smile and they shouldn't be worried about the score. Easier said than done. So we do have some challenges in the area here physically, right, with Harrison and coming in and out. We're working through those challenges, but we want to make sure when they walk in the building, it's the best experience possible. And we're always striving to improve on that.
Yeah, give me some of those challenges about if people aren't familiar with Harrison. Yeah. I mean, stadiums were supposed to revitalize the entire area, and it doesn't always happen as planned. Yeah. What are some of those hurdles that you were just referencing?
So the revitalization occurred. There's a lot of growth in people living literally within a few miles of the stadium, and there's only one main artery, right? Frankie Rogers Boulevard, and leads to our stadium and leads in and out, and there's one road. So that's a problem for traffic that we can't change instantly.
I will call you the New England Patriots. If you've ever tried to get into Gillette on game day, forget it.
Yeah. And then we're working with the town to make sure we can improve the parking situation, which we have some solutions for next year that we're going to announce when we get closer to the start of the season, which will really help the parking situation. That's been a challenge. So those are the 2 main drivers that give us some headaches and sort of thorns in our back that we don't have control over, but we work closely with the town to help. So we have some solutions that we think will make a big difference next year to help that experience for our fans.
I got to tell you, I was just with the design firm this morning. I won't say which one because I don't want to put anybody on the spot here. But now, and I don't know why this hasn't always been the case, now one of the first things these firms will discuss with municipalities, teams, owners, all the partnerships that require to do this stuff is ingress and egress. It is such a problem in so many places with athletic facilities, and I cannot figure out why it has not been prioritized.
Yeah, It's scary. When I went to Taylor Swift last year with my daughter,
Show off.
great show, by the way.
Hey, where'd you go?
At MetLife.
Oh, okay.
Leaving MetLife was, I think it was longer than the actual show. So it was longer than the actual show.
And it's a long show.
Yes, that's right. It's 3 hours plus, so it took a while to get home.
This one is particularly interesting to me because if you're building new stadiums for, let's just say you're building them for 20 years, the way that self-driving cars are going to change parking and the need for parking at venues in the next 20 years is potentially dramatic. And I could see a world where in 20 years, you don't really need parking at your stadium, or you don't need nearly as much as you can because people get dropped off by their cars and the cars leave and they go somewhere else. And I could see a world where as that technology changes, the parking becomes less important and the ability to get picked up from a car becomes more important as opposed to storing the car there. As
Waymo
technology
world
changes these things. Yeah,
hopefully it does.
I think MetLife Field really struggled with, at least early on, and maybe still is. Getting an Uber out of MetLife Stadium is extremely difficult.
It's impossible.
And if I was building a stadium now, certainly for the next couple decades, my priority would be less on parking capacity and more on getting cars in and out, picking people up.
Ingress, egress, absolutely.
I remember years ago I was talking to Vivek Van Dive, and he was talking about utilizing like sort of drone aided parking. So you could be on your app, and the drones are telling you where the spots are. So you're not driving around the lot full. So just again, tech can help for sure. Yeah. But I've been hearing about this for a while.
So. We have the path that is a huge plus for us, right? That's right there. Massive. So we've got to make sure we get more people comfortable using the path to come in and out from Jersey City to Hoboken and even lower Manhattan. You're on an easy path. I used to take
it from Manhattan all the time. It's the easiest way. And by the way, I don't think my wife listens to the pod. She hears enough of my voice anyway, so I can make fun of her. She thought the path was a walking path. When I said I'm taking the path, when she first moved to New York, she thought and for those, but but I don't want to laugh too much at her because Eben, do you know what PATH stands for?
It's a
Port Authority Transit.
Transit or the
no. Port Authority Trans Hudson.
Okay. So she thought there was a walking path.
She thought there was a walking path, just a nice path, Primrose Path.
Nice. That's awesome.
There is further up.
Did I hear Sammy Steinleicht laughing in the background at my wife? Did I hear that?
Yeah. He's in trouble.
Yeah, I thought I did. Yeah, that's it. Don't come to the Soshnick household anymore.
Mark, last time you were on the show, we talked a lot about Messi. We're now at the end of the first full season of Messi, season and a half of the most famous soccer player in the world playing in MLS. I'm curious how you look at the impact that Messi has had, what it means outside of the times that Inter Miami comes to Sports Authority Stadium, which obviously is a great day for you guys. Or sorry,
Sports Authority Stadium. Do you hear that?
Sports Illustrated
Stadium.
Eben, Staples Center. It's so much easier. Just every stadium is now Staples Center.
Outside of the times you host Messi, I'm curious how you see the impact of his arrival on your business right now.
It's been, it wasn't a one and done. The first game in August 2023 when we spoke, it's helped everyone elevate the value of their proposition to the fan because everyone wants a piece of seeing Messi. This could be his last season. Could it not be? Could it be the last time he's in New York or in the area? So all those things are assets we can leverage. And for the league, when we look at our league commercial partners, there's no doubt that those values definitely went way up because of his presence and his reach around the globe.
So can you take us inside a conversation that you would have with a partner who is obviously interested in if Miami's on the schedule at home that year, kind of extra tickets for that game? Is it extra giveaways for that game? How are you utilizing that one game in a wider conversation?
I think we're using it now for our season to sell season tickets. It's bundling it with other games, right? To get in, you can't get in with a singles purchase for the Miami game, so we can get more added value out of it. And for partners, it's really figuring out which partner will want to invest more than they are already to own that match, right? So we are selling that match as a standalone. You could be a current partner that has access to a theme night or one of our matches. This one is off the table. And if you want to get in, there's a get-in price to be the presenting partner of the Miami game. What we need to avoid is that he's away on international duty like he was this year when we hosted him. So hopefully the league will do us a favor this year and not have him show up here when he's on international duty.
If you can, what's the get-in price? What roughly? What is?
It's significant. Significant, yeah, significant.
Novi Williams night when Miami's in town. We can do it.
Hey,
and I'm going to say it with an accent.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Bring the kid. Yeah, Sportico night.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a coupon.
You'll get your own Sports Illustrated cover for him too.
Beautiful.
Oh, there we go. But I like that. But speaking of accents, but Jorge Mas, I think, came out recently and said, "Yeah, look, we're looking to invest. We want the best players. We'll take." Does that any of that cause some uneasiness if one team is out there saying, "Yeah, we're ready to spend. We want the best players here in Miami"?
No, I think it helps us. It helps the whole league. It's going to help us continue to invest because if they're investing, everyone needs to sort of manage their investment. We're going to invest in more experienced players this year. We know that's coming. We're going to continue to try to get better, and we hope that more of the ownership group, maybe not to the extreme that Miami is doing, but everyone needs to invest because the product is king, right? In any business, if your product performs and is driving great entertainment, it's high quality, that's going to help the business, right? If you're selling a CPG, if it doesn't taste good, doesn't work, your business is dead. So we've got to make sure that our product gets better and better, and that's going to happen by Miami doing what they're doing, us doing what we're doing with our academy, and also balancing it with more experienced players coming in from around the globe. So I think it's a win-win for everyone.
Another major change in its second year now, the Apple deal.
Ooh, that's exactly where I was going just there.
There we go. Look at that. Give us from your seat the numbers have not been released. I know teams are getting their own numbers, and that's it. But from where you sit, Apple deal has been a success. Is it a wait and see? What are your feelings?
I think it's been a success, but it's been sort of a change in behavior for our fans, right? To go from linear to digital to MLS Season Pass. Sometimes it's free, sometimes it's behind the paywall. So there's still a transition or a behavioral change that's occurring for our fans. The numbers are growing. I mean, our numbers in terms of subscribers who are fans of Red Bull are really high compared to the average in the league. So we're excited about that. And we think we can build on it. The production is amazing. What we need to do now is really leverage more local activation and local communication that supports the local team, right? What we miss with MSG, where we were on MSG, the Rangers are playing, hey, watch the Red Bulls next week. They're playing home opener. We need to figure out how we dovetail Apple TV into more local sports content.
Have you seen an impact? I've talked to a number of team executives and owners about that exact thing, is losing the local TV deal, which was rolled up in the Apple deal. A lot of teams were using that as a lead generation for new fandom and for ticket sales.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you've seen a direct impact in losing, as you said, the local mouthpiece that was your MSG deal, and whether that's a different kind of funnel now for new fans coming in.
Yeah, it definitely puts more onus on us to do a much better job driving people to that top of the funnel, making them aware of our team, then walking them down to a purchase. Whereas we could leverage MSG to drive awareness, even ticket sales. Now it's all on us because nothing's going through Apple technically, right? So we've invested a lot more in marketing. We've increased our content development team, our social team, and our sales team has done a phenomenal job at growing the business this year. And next year, this year we ended up at 19.5 average. Next year we want to be over 20. That's the objective, and we think we'll get there with the success we've had now.
Tell us something we don't know, Mark. Something you're working on, something we don't know, we haven't heard. We always there's got to be some secrets in the box there that you can, sort of whisper right now.
Scott, I've got a trivia question for you, and this one I am convinced you don't know.
I have never gotten a trivia question on this show. Eben throws them out, and I have no idea. Okay.
Here it is, guys. Who was the first season ticket holder for our MLS Next Pro team that plays out of Montclair? This is a tough one.
I've got a guess.
Go
Is
ahead.
it a famous Montclair resident?
I don't know.
Is it Stephen
Frank Isola?
Stephen Colbert, Isola. Those are two great guesses. But no, it's our actual Commissioner Garber. Was the first season ticket holder while he was, I think he was in Montclair at the time when we launched the team.
Does he get a discount?
No. Now here's my question. As somebody who worked for the mayor of New York when he had his tickets to all the sports teams. My only counsel to him was, Mike, don't buy one team and not the other, because you'll catch flack for that. Just buy for all. Now, is the Soccer Don a season ticket holder of all teams? Does he not contribute the capital or distribute it to business partners or whatever? Or is he just, can you make the proclamation that even the commissioner is the only a season ticket holder for Red Bulls?
I can't make that proclamation at all. I can't
They
make
don't all
that.
play in his hometown.
That's right.
I can't believe I just gave Frank Casola free airtime, by the way.
Yeah, you did. You just gave Frankie free airtime. We should charge him for it, actually.
Absolutely. And I'll throw you Harvey Araton. I saw him in the local eatery the other day. Why haven't I bumped into Don at breakfast or something in Montclair, Evan? Evan's a Montclair native
avoiding
also.
He lives in the city now. I believe he's moved to the city.
I should bump into him
I
every
went
now and then.
to school with Maddie, Don's daughter, for like 10 years in Montclair.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
But I'm
cool.
not going to let you avoid the question with trivia. Give me something I don't know yet. Something that you got tucked away. What are you working on? What's something good, something new?
Let me think this through here.
So you'll find this interesting.
Yeah.
This should be a new segment on the show, Evan. Tell me something.
Yeah,
new.
this is a good one, guys.
All right, call us afterwards. We'll
Yeah.
spill the beans on the next show. We'll say Mark finally
Yeah.
came up with it, and this is what it
I
was.
got nothing for you guys right now.
Well,
Maybe.
I got one more question. When you guys played out in LA for the MLS final, I know there were, I think, 2,000 Red Bull employees that were flown out on the team's dime. Walk us through the decision, the thinking there, and I'm curious also how much was spent on
So-
what is obviously a very cool opportunity for people who work for the team in New Jersey and New York.
Yeah, so we flew out our staff, which is about 200 plus.
200.
Then all the families of the first team, and then we also subsidized our supporters coming out, right? So we had about, to your point, we had 3,000 people that we bought tickets for. So we subsidized all the tickets to the folks who came to the game to support us. Our Red members got a free ticket. Our supporters got a free ticket plus a stipend for travel. So we gave them $300 each to offset some of their cost of travel to LA. And all our staff and families were on 2 charters Friday. We had a welcome party that Friday night and another party after the match to celebrate the season. So we invested a lot of money into getting everyone out there.
So the ticket stuff is actually new to me. Is that common? I mean, you're giving free tickets to your most avid fans to the championship game? And
That
what's
is not
thinking there
common.
Instead of just making them.
See, there's
They're
something
gonna
we
pay,
didn't know.
right?
There you go.
There you go. There's you didn't know.
I do
So
find
no,
that interesting. We didn't know. Yeah.
The concept there was, listen, they've been with us for so long. We all wanted to get to this moment, and it was our thank you to them. So we literally bought a block of tickets from MLS because it's managed through MLS for all our fans.
So next year, if Red Bull goes back to the championship game, is there fans expect the same thing, or is
It
year
will be
2
this-
on them?
No, it'll be the same exact treatment, if not better.
Oh, there we go.
They just
I
hope
like
it's
that.
a little bit closer. That's all. Just not a cross country flight. All right, Mark, we'll get you out here on this. But I do like. Oh yeah, go ahead. You had a
What's
finger
your
up.
favorite SI cover ever between you
Ooh,
guys? Good question.
a very
My
good question.
favorite SI cover? Eben, should it be when?
I mean, I know the
when-
one that I remember the most from my childhood. It was the New York Mets, their infield, best infield ever, I think was the headline, but it was John Olerud, Roberto Alomar, Ray Ordonez, and Elguero Alfonso. And I had that on my wall for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, do you have Soto on your wall now somewhere?
Yeah, it's fun. Unfortunately, I'm no longer a fan, really. I think when you work in this industry long enough, the kind of childhood romanticization of sports kind of disappears.
Oh, yeah.
But for a while, I was just like so many people. I was an avid reader of the magazine, and every week when it came, it was the
That's
first
awesome.
thing I was doing when I got home.
Eben,
Scott?
was it the cover where what's his name was wearing the Nike shoot instead of Under Armour?
Oh yeah,
that a-
that was Michael Phelps.
That's
That was
my
SI,
Michael
yeah.
Phelps when he won in Beijing.
Yeah.
That Eben and I broke the story. Nobody noticed that Michael was wearing Nike sweats in his cover shot for Sports Illustrated, and he was an Under Armour athlete.
No way.
So we luckily had a few sources who tipped us off that this was coming, and let's just say the finger pointing and the denials were long and hard, but we had it cold and we wrote it. And we were told, right, Eben, that it was put up in Phil Knight's office, right?
I can't remember if someone definitely
That's
told us
gotta
that
be.
Phil Nice probably would put it up in his
Yeah,
office.
so it's not
Yeah.
like it's a Walter Ayus, like just amazing work, but
Yeah.
just because of the gaff, and we happened to
It did
notice it,
turn
and the
into
rest
a
of the
great
world
story.
didn't. Like I remember that, but I'll give SI another good pop. I mean, I could have cheated on that one and just said like El McPherson, but I will say it's for me. SI, despite the photography, was never about the cover. It was about the journalism and the print. And for me, it was also Rick Riley was a master at his craft for a very long time. I would be almost Talmudic in my reading of SI, and that I'd flip it over and go from back to front. And if you can Google this, my favorite one, and I still remember it. I was so high about this that I had written a column years ago about I had declared myself a fan free agent. And I'd written to every sports team in the Big Four. Sorry, Dan Quartermash will say Big Five now, but at the time it was just the Big Four, asking them, this is what I care about. You don't need to win a championship. I don't want your players arrested. I want blah, 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 blah. This is all the things that mattered to me. Now, please make the argument why I should give you my heart, my head, and my wallet. And the Golden State Warriors went so over the top in courting me as their new fan that Rick Riley read my piece and then wrote about it.
No way.
So he mentioned me in his column and the work that I did. So for me, that was the pinnacle of SI.
That's awesome.
For Rick Riley to acknowledge one that I existed and then to like cite my work was just beyond. So that's a little
awesome.
humble brag right there. It wasn't the cover. It was Rick in the back, and damn it, he wrote about me.
That's
How
fantastic.
about you, Mark? Anything jump out? Have the Red Bulls been on the cover?
The Montreal Canadiens winning.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. It's been a long time coming, and it's
I
not
heard Sam-
happening anytime soon, guys.
Well, there's a connection there too. That little Marty St. Louis was a coach in the Mid Fairfield program where my son plays. So,
did he coach your son?
Oh yeah, no, he was a year older, but Marty was always around. He was at practice not long ago, and his son was recovering from concussion. So Marty's always around and working with the kids. He loves it. So there's a nice connection. I have no connection to Yvonne Cornwallier, so I'll just have to go with Marty St. Louis. If that's okay with you. You know who that is, Eben? Yvonne Cornwallier?
I assume he is one of the coaches. Of the
God,
Canadians.
Mark, he hurts my brain. He hurts my brain once a week, my man.
Does he know Guy Lafleur?
Guy
I know
Lafleur?
Guy Lafleur, yeah.
Okay, great. Okay.
Of great fame with the
God.
Strange Brew guys and a commercial
Yeah.
for Molson. There you go.
If I went quickly here, Eben, here, talk for a minute so I can find a photo of what we can put up on the social if I can find
I
it.
feel
really
like we
fast.
do this every episode now.
You
There's
do it? I try and
this
do
is
this
an athlete
quickly.
at least, which is nice. Usually it's like obscure television from the 70s.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
not obscure television from the 70s, but just for me, obscure television from the 70s.
Well,
So, Eben, when is your baby? January? Is it,
We're due, end of January.
do you know boy or girl?
We're
or-
having a boy.
Boy, good. For
Yeah.
you want to tell them the names you're considering? Maybe you
Yeah.
can like kind of poll the fans as to
Yeah,
what they
Yeah,
like.
you should.
Janet may kill me if I put these all out there.
She doesn't listen to the show. Who you kidding?
Scott.
Otis is on the list. Reese is on the list.
I nixed
Um,
Otis because it's too popular in the elevator testing plant
Yes.
world. Yeah,
I
said
agree.
no to that.
Marlowe is on the list. We're bouncing a few things off, but
Here's-
nothing that has come out and was immediately.
Here's my Jackson
boom.
Carey Price from that day from like
Oh,
the first game.
there
Marty
you go.
brought Marty. My son's a goalie, as you know, so Marty
Yeah.
brought Carey out of the locker room to introduce him because that was my son's favorite player.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right, should we? By the way, this has been too friendly. Should we get Mark in trouble at the very end? Since
Please
he brought-
don't.
By all means,
You
it's on
mentioned
you.
it. No, we're going to get you in trouble. Sammy, stop waving your arms like no, no, no. So you are a
Uh-oh.
you are a sports executive, Mark, in the New York area.
Mhm.
You just mentioned Juan Soto. That's a long time, and that's a lot of money. Who did better? Mets getting Soto, Yankees not getting Soto.
I think they both did good.
No, I knew you were going. No.
What an answer.
No. They didn't both do good. No, they did not.
Maybe they did.
No,
I think
they
we'll
didn't.
only know.
Yeah, time will tell.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
All right. Good answer.
When,
Very
when you win
political
the
answer there.
championship in subsequent years, you'll come back and say, by the way, I'm ready to answer that Juan Soto question
Yes.
since he only hit 12 home runs last year.
All right. Special thanks to Mark DeGrey.
By the way, Mark, we can still talk
is
while he's closing the show.
president
We go right over
and
him. Yeah, we don't. Nobody cares about him
This is
closing the
awesome.
show.
Mark,
Yeah,
I
we
am
don't.
Evan Novi Williams. You can
I
find
will
me on
say
Twitter,
that
Novi
Matty
_
Palacio does a good job.
You
I
can
want
find
people to hear his
Scott
name.
Soshnick on Twitter at Soshnick.
I like
The
how
show
you
is
guys
produced by
position the
Aaron
camera with the
Greenwald.
Red Bull
Thank you very
logo in the
much to
back.
Aaron
Like
for
that.
Well
everything
done.
she
Yeah,
does.
congratulations.
Matt Palacio,
Thank you.
who runs Sportico's
Yeah.
digital and social
See,
media.
Matt got a little
Would like
plug
you to
there.
know that you can follow the show at Sportico.
Normally he stumbles, but he
which is
did.
the
Look at him.
hub
He did a
of
good
the
job this time.
Sportico Media Network.
Thanks, guys.
Boom.
This is always great.
Got it.
This is always great.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah,
So
thank you,
fun.
Mark. We appreciate
So
it.
fun. Thank you, guys.